Hey everybody, it's me again with the crazy just washed hair. How's everybody doing? Um, I thought, oh god, I'm gonna stick with this one. Um, hey, look, let's just do this thing. Well, it's just the two of us. We can get going. Live. Add you. It always chucks my filter off when I go to add somebody.
Did I come in
Hi.
too early?
No, you're perfectly well timed. I'm putting my filter back on. You can pick a filter if you want. We're having fun with this.
Yeah, I haven't.
Look at that. Beachy.
Well,
This
I'm
is a better
sitting.
filter for
Okay.
your brand than mine.
Well, I've just got a nice natural afternoon sunset glow that's reflecting off my dining room window.
Show off, show off.
But I haven't really played around with them a lot, so
Ooh, that's
maybe
nice.
get some
Yeah, not so
eyelashes happening.
much. Yeah, you're right. You just look good anyway. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thank you for inviting me to come
Oh
on
my
here.
goodness, folks! So all week long, I'm interviewing fabulous yoga teachers from all over the world who have made the jump to teaching online. And I can't remember. Did you email me or Facebook message? What? How did we? Anyway, I discovered that this fabulous woman, one of her most successful classes that she's offering online is her chair yoga to older people. Tell us more about it.
Yes. So it was one of your emails that I just happened to open up. And yeah, for some reason I had that little calling
That's
to just give you a bit of an update. And it was much to my surprise as well. So, as all of this started to unfold, I have to say that I was feeling very, very thankful that I had done my social media confidence course. I was feeling a little bit more prepared for this, so it wasn't so daunting. But it had been something that was on my, to-do list to get these some online content happening. So this just forced me to do it. So I just saw it as a great opportunity. So I made that progression to the online classes. I kind of refined, at the time I was teaching 6 classes a week. I decided to, trim that back to 4. I did slightly shorter classes and then offered it on a membership basis. So
ah,
um, even my 2 other classes, which are more general, kind of open for more general population, I extended the offer to do the chair yoga because I thought even from the mindfulness perspective, why not? But anyway, I was really surprised to see that my chair yoga participants, like I've got not usually 9, 8 in the class, which is, that's awesome.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so and my in fact my other classes have been quite small, and I think I guess the only conclusion that I can draw from that is those people just have other demands on them, and there's been lots of change. I don't know, but I'm not too worried about it. I've been really enjoying what I've been doing anyway, so yeah.
So one of the things that I've heard is that people are concerned that their people just don't have what it takes to figure out the technology, and that people are hesitant because they're not techie. Not the teachers, although that's another thing, but the participants. But what you suggested in your email was that your people are figuring it out and they're fine.
Oh, you know what? Like, I thought the same thing as well. I honestly did not think that many of them were that I was going to retain them throughout this because I just thought the techie stuff would be too much
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
But much to my surprise, I put it to them. Most of them have emails, some of them don't. So what I decided to do was when I kind of put the package together, these people like those more old-fashioned types of communication. So I just gave them a phone call, checked
Hmm.
in with them, saw how they were all going, in their sort of isolation, just checked up, offered, being available, like if they needed me to drop anything off, that sort of thing, that sense of
Nice.
support. But yeah, many of them said, yeah, we'll definitely join up. And I just offered the support. I just said, look, what we'll do is we'll open up the meeting. We're using Zoom, and I'll be there half an hour beforehand. So this was more so in the first week.
Yes.
And or whenever I know a new person is coming on board, I'll give them plenty of time beforehand to try and find their way in. And then they just ring me if they're having problems, and we figure out. Half the time I've got the rest of the class logged in, and they're all like, no, you do it like this from an iPad. And they're so it's been an absolute joy and pleasure, I have to say. And I think that maybe, so I've been reflecting a little bit on some of the potential reasons why. And I think I was teaching. This is kind of the group that I've got is a combination of two different classes. We've got a little local community library. So I was teaching one chair yoga class there, and then I'd started a new active chair yoga class down in Nambour. And amongst both those groups of people, there is a strong sense of community. So they wanted to continue that thread. They didn't want to be, sitting at home. They wanted to evolve. Like, they wanted to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Having the bro bunch in the morning, like sitting there just having a good little catch up amongst themselves. It's really quite cute.
There's a couple, I love all of this. There's a couple of things that I really like. I think what you're reminding us all about is that we shouldn't presume, hey everybody, Stacey Louise, Rosie's here. We can't presume about a certain group of people about their preparedness to learn something new. I also like that you said you called everybody, because I know there can be a hesitancy. I've heard from some yoga teachers, they're hesitant about being harassing or being, in people's face, or being too salesy. And for some people, the idea of what you rang your students, how invasive. But I could imagine for your people, getting a friendly phone call from you just to check in would have been really nice, a real gift for them. What would you say to folks that would, they hear you say, oh, I rang everybody. Oh. Was it onerous? Did you feel weird about it? Tell us more about that.
Love it. They absolutely love it. Oh, I was hearing all the stories of what they want to get on and have a chat with you on the phone, which I don't mind. It's really lovely.
Yes.
And I suppose at the time my kids were still at school, so I had that space in my own life to do that. But I guess it's really just, for me, I approached it from my heart. So there was a genuine, I kept putting myself into the mindset, how can I be of service during this time? And because I was really feeling, I could see the benefit that they were all having. And they kept coming back. This was when we were doing the face-to-face classes. They were lapping it up. Yeah. Many of them, you've got to remember, many of them, half of them have never done yoga. And so like, whoa, now we're opening our eyes to this whole new, thing. And then the other half did it 10 or 15, maybe even 20 years ago, and hadn't been able to because of certain body restrictions. So now chair yoga and very gentle yoga opens it up again for them. So, so there's that real willingness. And I think also for their age group, they've had to endure so much. If you think
good point.
Like they've gone lots of change already. So I think maybe the resilience is there.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's a great point. Don't they say, I don't know if this is true for everywhere, but I thought there's some statistic about older Australians or elderly Australians are actually really good early adopters of technology generally. Like they like it. They like going to the U3A and how to use the internet and like all of this sort of stuff.
So was that did you say the U3A? What was that?
Yeah, those like University of the Third Age. Like there's lots of stuff like...
Yeah, so a couple of them, and I didn't know who this group was, right? But I happened to mention in my class on Thursday that I was going to be doing this little, because they were all so amazing, I'm now doing this little talk with you. And they told me about, Olivia, you must know you know, so a couple of our friends, they're like 80 and 83, and they're doing Zoom meetings for their U3A. Yeah. And the other thing they were telling me is that she goes, do you know that we get together now from all of this on Zoom? We're having cocktail parties. We dress up with our fascinators and our butterflies, and we're meeting up and having cocktail parties. We've had 4 of them so far. And apparently from their group, there's like some Facebook group, I think they called it a friendship course. I don't quite know much about it, but they said they've had people from America sort of saying, oh, you know, like we really love this idea. And I just think that we definitely, they're so ready for it. They
So, Terry's here. Hey, Terry. So let's just take one of the takeaways from chatting with you then is that, uh, you know, if you're not prepared to spend a little bit more time with your seniors to help them get online to take your yoga, they could be missing out on happy hour.
Yes, and they're probably just going to go and do it without you somewhere else.
I want to come to those classes. They sound like a hoot, those people.
Oh, they're just, yeah, like they really, and I think that sense of connection, it's keeping that thread, I think is really, that's so important for them. You know, they recognize, I guess, you know, if you sort of think society has become more disconnected in the last, I don't know how, so many decades. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're used to very much that sort of village, you know, and that real sense of connection and, you know,
Yes.
still borrowing flour from your neighbour next door, and you know, and even in the street that I live in, there's quite a few retired people, and I tell you, they're doing their Lions Club meetings. They're getting 20 people in Zoom meetings. I mean, like, honestly, you've got to keep the yoga thread going.
I like what you said about getting there really early. I was talking to someone yesterday and she was still doing short classes and she was still using the free 40-minute Zoom and she was feeling like she wanted it to be a bit longer. And we were talking about the power of the 10 minutes before and the 10 minutes after. And maybe actually that's more medicinal for your people right now than any of the yoga that you teach them. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just told all my students for all my classes that I'll log in 20 minutes prior.
Mm.
And, you know, and I can still, if I need to do something with the kids, I'll walk for a minute or two and come back. Half the time they're quite happy just to chat and they know, I mean, they've all said things to me like, Olivia, we love it when your little dog comes and sits next to you. You know, they love it if there's a distraction. You know, they love all that real kind of stuff. So there's no expectation there, I don't think. So, yeah.
Tell us about this membership. What's the
Well,
yeah, tell us about that.
so I just made it really clear with my students because I was well aware of the fact that well, number one, I thought because, you know, everybody is faced with, you know, of dealing with a lot right now, for those that do want to stay on board with yoga, why it's no skin off my back to offer them a package, you know. So I thought pretty much all of my students come to one class a week, keeping in mind I'm also you know, I juggle being a mum and a teacher. So I just decided that I would charge them the same. So my seniors do pay us a different membership package to my other students that have access to all 4 classes.
Yep.
And yeah, so I just set that up like a direct debit with Go Cardless. And and I just sort of said to them all, like, you know, I don't want to be spending all my time trying to do admin work because I really want to stay focused on the yoga. And, you know, and again, most of my seniors have been more than happy to set that up. And I just said, if there's anyone that isn't happy to do that, just let me know and we'll make up another plan. So I've got one lady that just pays for 4 lessons or 4 weeks at a go, you know, just does a bank transfer, and that's fairly easy to manage. I've got a couple that do that. So yeah. So
do you have drop-ins? Can you take drop-ins?
I can. haven't really sort of advertised a casual, but I guess what they do is I had one lady join me for a week just because she's, you know, about to have a baby. So I guess in a sense, I have had a drop in. So
Well, I
yeah.
was just thinking, you know, this video is on my IGTV and my YouTube channel. There may be people who want to know, who want to come and rock it out with some cool seniors and do some chair yoga with you.
Well, I did put on my website, www.livebasonyoga.com. I've got a page on there which is just yoga online during
Okay.
COVID-19. So that's
Yes.
got all the details, and it explains each of my 4 classes and the instructions for people what to do if they do want to join up, and whether they want to join up, you know, on a direct debit or just join in for a week or 2 or whatever it is. So
Is your direct debit weekly or monthly, or how often?
we can set
Weekly.
that up to come off every Monday, because my classes are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the
Okay.
morning. And that allows me each week to go in and I check my list of who's on board. So if I've had any ones, and also if I get someone come midweek, I can sort of add them in as well. You know, I just sort of work with that. But it'll charge every Monday. So there's a bit of, and I've got my sort of bank transfer students. I've said, if we can make it all happen on the Monday, so we've kind of got that little bit of structure in place just to make it a bit easier. But there's obviously always flexibility for people that like come along midweek or whatever. So
I do think it's interesting, this idea of weekly basis, because, you know, people are starting to talk about, well, maybe this quarantine thing's going to end. Maybe lockdown will finish. And for people that have done great jobs and set up monthly memberships, maybe people won't want that in, I don't know,
well,
months.
I have actually started putting a little bit of thought into this, because you know, it's this whole experience has just been exactly what I needed to get. It was like a little kick in the butt.
Yep.
And I have started putting some thought into how I could, you know, continue that direct debit kind of thing, because for me, I mean, it's just made it makes life way easier.
Yes.
So
Auto
and
payments. Everybody who's watching, auto payments.
it's just, and you know what, and the thing that I am just it's like I feel like my mind's just, everything's, my business capacity is just, I had all these limitations when we did our coaching session together.
Yeah.
You know, I used to structure everything around the school term. Now because of this, I don't feel like I have to, you know. I can continue, you know, especially with my seniors, they're not bound by the school term at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's really opened up a lot of doors for me. It's been a really good experience. And look, I certainly haven't had all of my people come across, but you know what, like, to be honest, I've had I've had kids at home. It's been school holidays. Now I've got them homeschooling. So
Homeschooling.
I haven't really pushed it. I haven't, to be honest, really marketed it huge. I've really been focusing on my own group of people that I've got, my own students. I've done a little bit, but very minimal. And I will look at that within the next few weeks. I'll start. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try and see if I can continue on with the direct debit. Just talk with my students and
Totally.
yeah.
Beth and Morgan, Yoga Ladies London, is in the house. Hello, been loving your Instagram, Beth. We're talking with Liv Basson Yoga. Follow her. And same website, Olivia, as your Insta handle? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and she might let you in to do a casual if you're lucky. What about, do you have any desire to continue to offer things online once we go back to normal town?
Definitely.
You know, if you fall in love with the format.
Sorry, got a little bit of replay there with voice.
Sorry. Do you want to keep doing online stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of have this vision that even once we can go back to face-to-face classes, that I will take my laptop with me and still film the class, because I'm wondering how, if, you know, so when I do, I haven't really put a lot of, I haven't set anything in stone just yet, but the way I was thinking was, I used to have like this 5-week pass. And of course, you get people that for whatever reason might have to miss a week or two, sometimes even more. And I
Yes.
thought that it could be a really good,
Makeup classes.
easy way for people to just keep, like, even if they go away on holidays, they can still access it. So,
Nice. I like it. Oh no, we've got the delay thing happening again.
sorry,
Man, we
I
get so
just
far.
had,
There we go. We're back.
I set these daily time limits for social media, 45 minutes. Ignore them.
Oh, okay. We need to finish up because
No, that's
Olivia's
all
Baxter has completed, and she's going to have all of these DMs from people who've watched this, and they're like, "You were so inspiring." I'm gonna, yes, great idea, says Rosie. Rosie, do you love this? Rosie teaches chair yoga as well. She's an aficionado.
Oh,
So
yeah, we
yeah,
It'd be nice
you two
to
can
have
connect
people
and
to,
share ideas.
yes, and we were using Tupperware containers for blocks as well. I heard your conversation with was it Lou from
Yes.
the, and I was like, yeah, we've been using Tupperware containers as blocks.
We should do a hashtag. There should be a competition. I'm going to think about that.
Yeah.
Like what, like what would we call it? Like a home style yoga props hashtag. And let's just see what everybody's using. This would be hilarious.
And it's all about removing the obstacles, isn't it?
Yeah, it totally is. Yes. And I mean, I'm guessing everybody has a chair, but they probably have different types of chairs, right? They all show up with slightly different.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's been really interesting because I've got one lady that comes along and, I mean, obviously I've taught her face to face, so I feel really comfortable with this, but she's in a walking frame. So I have to plan every class because I've got my active chair yoga ladies that really want to focus on balance and some standing work. And then I've got, this lady that uses the walking frame, and others, the ones about to have a hip replacement. So you do have to really structure your lesson in a way that the bits that we can all do, then the bits that we have to modify. But anyway, it's fun.
Terry says family Bibles make for good props. We're in Australia, girl. We're not so great with the whole family. That's your territory. We're not so great with the family Bible situation. I love what you're saying here because it's about, and other Gerlinda sort of touched on this too earlier in the week, that teaching online actually gives you the opportunity to refine your teaching skills. You have to be better. Like what you're describing, that's some seriously mindful, engaged teaching.
Yeah, it's been great. I haven't actually had a chance to really watch back. Yes, Tupperware, totally. And I liked, I think Lou had a couple of, was it Lou? What was her name again?
Yeah.
Yeah. She had some nice ideas. I used her 2 pillows in a pillowcase trick this morning.
That was golden.
Thank you.
Yeah. Send her a love note. Yeah. You've just elevated the home yoga community. Be something yoga. Okay, tell us your Insta so that everybody goes and follows you.
Yeah, sorry, you just went again.
What's your Instagram handle?
Oh gosh, now you're asking me a question. What am I?
If you would like to learn more about this fabulous yogini and everything that she's doing, you can follow her on Instagram at Liv Besson Yoga. That's BSSON Yoga.
Yes.
And you'll know you're in the right place because her account looks like her.
Hi. Sunshine Coast team. Yes.
Thanks, lovely, for doing this. I'm sorry we got a bit choppy with the Wi-Fi, but hey, it happens.
Oh, that's all right. No worries. I'm getting very used to this, imperfections. It's wonderful.
We got, I don't know how you say the name of this account. Thank you, ladies. That was valuable. Have a great day. Thanks. We will. maybe our Wi-Fi is getting choppy because it's time all the seniors are getting online, having their Zoom cocktail hour, and
Cocktail party time. What have we done?
it's happy hour for 65 plus.
Yeah, so if
Thanks,
anyone
lovely.
connect with me, and I'm more than happy to help out. Just send me a direct message if anyone does want help. But of course, they might want to message you as well.
Message us both. We love a chat. Justine, hello. Marianne Jeffries gives us the thumbs up. Awesome, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll see you back here tomorrow. More Yoga Teacher Real Talk. Is it us, Rosie? Are we talking to... What? No. Can't be. Horrible o'clock. Oh, I don't know. Anyway. Thanks, Olivia. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Bye.
Bye.